If you've just joined us, you're listening to Corellian Radio, broadcasting across the holonet from the Viking Space Dock to Carrick Station in the Outer Rim. My name is DJ Vargas, and on behalf of the Corellian Run Radio and Reformation at Jungma, we hope you enjoy the show.
Begin transmission.
You are listening to Corellian Run Radio, your route through hyperspace to the latest news on Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Hi, and welcome to Corellian Run Radio. This is episode 151, and we're recording Sunday, August the 23rd, 2015. My name is Jason. I'm joined by my co-host, Heather. Howdy, Heather. How you doing?
Hey, Jason. I'm good.
So, do you think we can do this? I think it's just going to be me and you.
Oh!
I know.
I don't even know how long that's been since
So
we haven't
long.
had a guest on the
So
show.
long. Well, we just announced we have nobody else with us. Everybody just left. No, we've got some things we talked about today. But before we get into that, what did you do this past week?
Oh, it was fun. We had a couple new guildies that played SWTOR before, but they're coming back. So we ran them through some of the new operations, got them gear, which was fun. And so we did that. Another one of our ops groups, they downed Torque hard mode, which I'm really proud of that they were able to do that. Last week I wasn't able to raid. I mean, not raid, but like do our hardcore rating. So I didn't get a chance to do Master Blaster again because we had a couple people on vacation and things like that. But we did get to do like our guild-wide operations. I've also been leveling a Marauder, which I can never get past level 30 with a Marauder, and this one is level 23, so we'll see.
So you said a Marauder? You're doing a Marauder?
Yeah, I have
How you liking that?
so far so good. I have a Juggernaut, which I really like, but this one is just like, I don't know if I like the two lightsabers, but I really want to go through the story again as a dark side. And I picked a male character this time so I could romance Jaisa. The first time I ran through
Oh,
the
so you
story.
definitely are going dark then.
Yeah, first time I ran through the story, I did it as a light side female. And so, of course she gets, well, I don't want to give away any spoilers
Yeah.
for these new players out there, but oh boy.
Oh boy, to Dark Jaisa?
No, playing a light side female and, the whole romance storyline
okay. Yeah.
there.
Gotcha. Well, I thought you were going. I thought you were going the oh boy, the dark side.
Oh no, yeah, and even if you like don't romance that particular companion, it's just horrible.
I was thinking Jaisa. I mean, I don't want to give any spoilers away. Jaisa is a freak. She's nuts, dark side, but it's kind of cool though. Story's awesome.
Yes.
So let's see my past week. So so did you do much raiding on your own?
Oh yeah, I still did raiding like our other ops, just not the super hard stuff.
Gotcha.
I did just the regular stuff with guildies and trying to get other people gear,
Yeah.
which I genuinely like doing that kind of thing and helping people.
Yeah, I ended up doing some of that. Did some regular, like, we were running what we call kind of training ops, getting some people, some gear, and especially we even had, we did a Dread Palace, and so we had some guys they haven't got one guy, he's a kid, but he hasn't got the Shadow of Revan yet, so he's only 55, so we were running through that. And, the first pull of trash, and he forgot to take auto-targeting off. So, yeah, we end up having to pick ourselves up off the floor because we, pulled in a bunch of mobs, which, yeah, it's like, oh, man, what's going on? But then it's still kind of fun. I mean, it's a learning thing, so it was kind of cool. So we did that, and then last Tuesday, I got pulled in for an alt for our Nightmare run for TFB. Yeah, that's still going. They're still working on that at UA, so we're hoping to get that down. I know a lot of people want the title for that, so hoping to get that done. So they're getting it down, getting the mechanics down pat, so yeah. I'm still that mechanic guy that I'm a little slow. A little bit, it's all my abilities and stuff, but with my limitations. But I still managed to get through the first. We got through the first boss and the second boss. People weren't getting away from that lightning damage, and it's like, hey, stay away. So anyway, I know they're going to get that down. Get the regular team. They had some people that were off due to computer issues and this summer, so get everybody back in the rotation. That will get down. I was leveling up some alts. Got another lightning sork, doing that, and I'm still working on my healer. She is well over 30 now. I had to catch up on my story because I was just running a bunch of flashpoints trying to work on healing. Which, note to anybody, if you want to add a little spice and make quad drives a little interesting, try healing that without clicking a coltol pot. Oh my gosh, yeah. I was doing pretty good, but then a couple of my group were like, yeah, you're doing great on healing. Could you click one of those coltol things so I'm not down to like 2 health points? So I managed to do that. So still working on that. So you got a Marauder now. Any other plans for any other alts?
Yeah, probably. I might make a power tech because that would be the
Flavor of the month. Oh, just kidding.
Well, no,
just-
that would be the last
joking.
Imperial Advanced class that I would need because I have everything. I have like at max level, I have every single Imperial class except Power Tech and the Marauder. But I do need to work on the Republic classes. It's just like, God, why am I gonna play Republic? But I really want to go through those storylines.
Yeah, I like the fact I've just finished up getting my Sage through Yavin and Ziost. And I was impressed on how they made Ziost, although it's the same story pretty much, how they added the Republic flair and a little different twist on the story and stuff like that. You know, not to give any spoilers away, but definitely it was interesting. I like to see that. So getting to see both sides of that and both genders is kind of cool on those stories. So now another thing you had mentioned earlier in the week, and I'm sure other people did, Windows 10. We ran into that in my guild. A couple people, actually several people, had good success with upgrading that. I have not upgraded. I've got some upgrades I need to make on my computer with hardware before I even attempt that. Are you going to attempt that?
I did Windows 10 on my laptop, it was a very easy process, but I don't play SWTOR on my laptop really. I've just played on my desktop. So I have not tried it yet. But I know Volk, he's done a couple like a video and an article about how it impacts SWTOR players, Windows 10 upgrading.
Mm-hmm.
And also, one thing I've heard is that if you use like different voice programs, that it might not work so well. But I've had a couple guildies that have been using Mumble in Windows 10, and they're fine.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just all how you
So-
do it, because it seems to be working for them.
Do you guys use Mumble then?
Yes, we use Mumble.
Yeah, we use TeamSpeak, so I'm hoping.
A
Now,
lot of people use TeamSpeak,
Mhm.
but I don't know. Whatever, we have Mumble.
well, so far we haven't had any issues with TeamSpeak. I know we had a couple issues with one of our tanks in one of the progression guilds. He was working on his computer, and it kind of had a real mess up. So he's down on his computer right now. So hopefully he'll get that fixed and be back up. But other than that, I think overall it's been a pretty smooth update for several people. So
Yeah, it
hopefully,
seems to be a really great operating system this time. So yay!
fingers
Yay,
crossed
yeah.
on that. Yay, Microsoft! Thank you. Hopefully that will work. One thing I noticed, Volt passed around. You mentioned him, and even for people that haven't updated, he mentioned the DirectX 9, installing it, because actually they said that DirectX 9 is what SWTOR was made, with and utilizing that. So, and if you just install it, it's not going to get rid of the newer DirectX that people have with Windows 10 or any other newer operating systems like that. But it will just put in there, and it'll actually have the library there instead of having to use an emulator. I don't know all the computer jargon, but it will actually help with that situation, make it run a little bit smoother. And I actually did that, and even on my Windows 7, it seems to run a little bit better. So
Oh, okay.
we'll put a link to the DirectX 9 article. I think SWTOR Strategies had that, as well as Volk. So we'll definitely put those into the show notes so everybody can check that out. Anything else going on in your week?
No, no, I don't know if I mentioned last time that I did get my Togruta to level 60. It was pretty easy.
You've already got it to
It was pretty
60.
easy
Good grief.
after. Yeah, yeah, so that was fun. And I did a concealment operative, which I'm still not going to take her into operations because I like my assassin, but I have a level 60 operative, so.
So she has the level 60 operative and put it on the shelf, basically. So how did you like the story? Of course, you've done the agent story, right?
Oh yeah, I've done it before, but I mean, I haven't done it for years, I think, and so I just forget the different little details of the decisions that you make, and so there was definitely times where I was sitting there thinking, "Oh my God, sometimes my decisions will really matter because I remember earlier when I was leveling, like I just picked something out of the blue, and then all of a sudden something happened, and it was too late to change what I picked." And yeah, so this time I had to think about what I really wanted to see happen with the story.
So did you go light, dark, gray? What did you end up doing?
She's kind of dark side. I did have her. Well, I don't want to give away any spoilers. I mean, I know these stories have been out for years,
Yeah.
but still, I mean, she did go kind of dark side. So,
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Now, did you do dark side before, or you just pretty
the
much?
last time she was pretty neutral. So she wasn't dark side or light side at all. I don't know how I ended up doing that. I think I just picked whatever option that I felt like at the moment, and so it just ended up being neutral, which, good to know. My personal thoughts are neutral.
I guess that is pretty good. Heather's not really as dark as she claims to be. Now, the one thing I liked about the agent, not to give any spoilers away, there was actually 3 different endings, depending on if you went light, dark, or gray on that. And I thought that was really cool as far as that story. And that's kind of why I put it up towards the top when I think about stories.
Maybe I'll have to play it again.
Oh, yeah. I've had to play it a couple times, 2 or 3 times. I really enjoy it. In fact, I've got another Lobby sniper that I'm probably going to be bringing up, so I'm excited about that. So
Well, the sniper is just so much better than the gunslinger. Like I hate, like the move, the snipe.
yeah.
The snipe on snipers, it's so satisfying. Like you have the long cast.
Oh,
I guess
like the ambush? Yeah.
yeah, you have a long cast for snipe, and then for the gunslinger, it's just like a bunch of little shots after your long cast, and it's just like ugh.
Yeah. Then like a penetrating blast or series of shots, the sound the sniper weapon has sounds so great. The
Yeah.
gunslingers just feels totally different. I know they're the mirror classes, but they don't play the same. At least it doesn't feel the same. So yeah, I have to
One
agree
thing,
with you.
one thing I do have to say though, it's a scoundrel. I do like the scoundrel sounds better than the operative.
Oh
I don't
really?
like that. Yeah, I don't like the knife stabby stab. I like the blaster,
You
the
like the
blaster
shotgun in somebody's
shots, and
back.
the nut kicking. Like the sounds for the
Wow.
scoundrel are really great. So that I would say the scoundrel's better if in regards to sound.
Okay, noting Heather's preference, she would like a shotgun at somebody's back and kick them in the nuts. Got it. Okay, well, stay clear of Heather. Gotcha. So you want to go ahead and get into a little bit of news, maybe?
Yeah.
From the Newsnet and beyond.
Well, topping off the news right now, we found Season 6 ranked rewards. They had a teaser blog, kind of giving away the different tiers and what will be in those tiers. Did you get a chance to see that, Heather?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely saw that.
Got it there on the screen right now. So what do you think of the different levels? This will be the first season with the token system they implemented for the rewards.
It's kind of cool. It's like you get to their legacy. So you can say you get tier 1, you can spend your tokens on whatever you want. So like say you don't want a mount, but you want to get your other character a weapon set or something, you can just go buy the weapon set and pass it on because it's bind to legacy. And that's Alex Modney. He did say that these rewards were bound to legacy
Yes.
in the forum. So
Yeah,
that's
we'll put a
official.
link in that show notes, so it's not us. It's if you have a problem with that, it doesn't come through, and it's not legacy stuff. Contact Alex Modney, care of SWTOR Forums.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I would have to see what the things look like. I mean, predacious vehicle mount, that doesn't really tell us
I
anything.
know, right? Now they do have a picture of the color crystal. The
Yeah,
kind of
that's the
gold
gold,
green.
which it kind of just looks like a. It doesn't look like anything special to
Kind of
me.
like a mustardy green kind of thing.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
not really into that, but I'd like to see what the black silver one looks like.
yeah.
The
Now
but
that's
for
the
some
one they've
reason that
had.
was
For,
cheaper.
yeah, they've had that in the last couple, I believe. The
Oh,
rewards,
okay.
yeah. But I actually think the gold green will look good coming out of blasters. I think that would
Yeah,
be good.
I'm pretty impressed with the rewards that they do for PvP. Like I really like the weapon set and the gear set where everything was on fire. I
Oh,
forgot
that was
which
the best one.
that was really good. So I mean, I can't wait to see what they come up with this. And still, I mean, you haven't seen any armor sets or weapons on fire in the cartel market, so that is pretty special.
Yeah, hopefully they will get another set like that where it is something special just for the PvPers because hey, they're part of the game. They deserve their just rewards. So hopefully we will definitely get some more in the future. Hopefully sooner than later. Find out exactly what kind of rewards they will be getting. So yeah, what you mentioned about the tokens. You know, at first I was kind of like, I kind of thought that the people would just get the rewards instead of having to actually buy them. But, you know, you make a lot of sense. You know, we talked earlier about using the tokens and just buying exactly what you want. And so if they are legacy, the tokens are legacy, and you can pass those around so that you can buy the different items and pass those around to your other characters. And as far as the rewards, that'd be cool. So passing rewards around.
And also, if for some reason you don't like any of the rewards, if you don't use the commendations, or not the commendations, if you don't use the tokens, not after the next season, but the season after that, they'll turn into Warzone commendations, which you can pass along with that legacy, new legacy box thing that
Mm-hmm.
they came up with. What is it called? The legacy lockbox.
Legacy lockbox, correct. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So you're not going to just, when those tokens, Season 6 tokens go away, you're not just going to lose them. They're actually going to be converted to Warzone comms. We don't know the ratio of the conversion yet, but that'll be kind of cool that they'll be converted, so you will not lose those. They will just be something else you can utilize to help gear up your tune or your alts. So that'll be a good thing as well. That's kind of interesting. I like that idea behind that. So you don't actually lose them. You still get to keep them. Anything else on the PvP rewards? Hopefully, find out a
No,
little bit
I
more in the
just
future.
can't wait to see more pictures. I'm not particularly impressed with the gold green lightsaber, so I'd like to see the weapons and stuff.
You heard it here, folks. Heather's not impressed. She wants to see more. Come on, BioWare. Let's see a little bit something. So, moving on to the next bit of news, something I found this week while going through the intraweb and the different SWTOR stuff. Jedipedia had an interview with Charles Boyd during Gamescom. It was an interesting little interview there they had with him. They had the lead story guy for Knights of the Fallen Empire and previous Shadow of Revan also. So he had a little bit of interview. You got a chance to check that out? What did you think of that, Heather?
It was pretty cool. It did confirm a few things, like, Satil Shan will be back, but it really makes sense what Charles Boyd said. Like, they can't just get rid of those characters. They kind of have to explain what happens to them. So that makes sense. I like the part where they said, I hear J.J. Abrams watched the Sacrifice trailer.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard about that too. So he was kind of impressed with that. That was kind of
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Maybe some of these people are secretly playing SWTOR.
Oh, wouldn't that be wild? One thing I came across, like you said, there was a couple of confirmations. I mean, not to give the spoilers away, but we do know that somebody is actually dead. Actually, 2 people. He announced it, confirmed. Charles Boyd. 2 people are dead, not coming back. Well, not coming back the normal way. I mean, it's Star Wars. You'll probably see him floating around somewhere.
And I guess it's not too much of a spoiler to say, well, the first thing in the article. Well, should I say? I guess we can't really talk about the article unless we say what's in it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there was this article we can't really talk about, but hey, it's an article. No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so the first question is asking, is Vitiate Valkorian, which um, he said, Charles Boyd pretty much says, I can't really say, but probably yeah. So,
So yeah, Charles, thanks for spoiling everything. No, yeah, it was interesting. Not only that about Valkorian and Vitiate, I liked the fact they talked about the actual throne. It was mentioned the Eternal Throne and how that technology and that whole chair is going to have an integral part in the upcoming story. So that was interesting. There was also, did you see the thing about the companions? Where Jedipedia had asked him about, he was talking about the sounds like Treek makes, and
oh
like
gosh.
basically,
You
is
know,
there a way to shut them up?
I don't know. I mean, I don't I guess annoying sounds don't really bother me that much. Like I don't mind when my dog barks at all.
Yeah, I
But she
kind of
doesn't
block them out.
yeah, she doesn't really bark in general anyway. So, I mean, it's cool if they added an option to turn off the sound, but I mean, it's not something I would personally care about.
Well, the interesting element is that Charles Boyd starts off, he's laughing a little bit, and starts off about how they actually changed that. The ship droids, you know how originally they would talk to you every, like, 5 seconds, it seemed like, when you're on a
Oh
ship.
my God.
And so they finally turned that down. But they did say that some of the various changes that are coming in general to companions might have an impact on them. So that kind of goes into the next thing we're going to talk about. The actual live stream they're going to be talking about. One of the main things they're going to be talking about is how companions will be working in the future. So that will be interesting. Interesting that he actually mentioned it in the interview. That some of the things like how the companions will be acting or talking, because it talks about Treek being one of the better companions and like an invaluable companion. So is that going to make other companions that you'd rather hear come along with you a little more? So that'll be interesting. Anything else in the article before I kind of messed up that transition that I had going on smoother?
One thing I did really like was the question was, how far in advance do they plan for the future of the game? And so Charles Boyd, he says it really depends on what we're doing. So they said that they have the 9 chapters coming out in October and then more to come after the holidays and actually maybe a bit further. So what I'm thinking is, I think they do plan really far out in the game, because when I talked to them last year, when what was Shadow of Revan? Yeah, before Shadow of Revan was coming out, they were already talking about how there was big things coming to SWTOR, going back to Bioware roots. Like they knew they were going to be doing all this stuff in Fallen Empire with the story, really just going back to story. I think at that point, which was maybe October or November of last year,
Mm-hmm.
they knew what they were doing already
Yeah.
for this fall.
Which, if a lot of people, I mean, some people probably know that they plan it way in advance, but I think some people don't understand how far in advance these developing teams have their story planned out, and that they are actually working. I mean, even though we don't hear about it, and I personally, I would love to hear more about what's going on. They definitely already are working on stuff. It's just they're not able to tell and share everything right now. So, yeah, I like the interview that Charles actually elaborated on some things about how far in advance they're working on things, and that means they are working on things. He even talked a little bit about PvP, although he said, I'm not doing anything in that, but the fact that he actually elaborated and talked a little bit about that, and said, I think he mentioned something about the PTS. Not that they're working on anything new, so Charles didn't say that they're having new maps. Sorry, guys.
But sometimes they keep saying, "Oh, we're not working on anything. We're not working on anything," and then bam, they come out and say, "Hey, look at this new thing that we just came out with." Like we had like when Strongholds came out, we had no idea they were working on that.
Hmm. Well, when we knew they were working on like Galactic Starfighter. They kept saying we're working on. We never heard anything, and then bam, it was actually this whole like separate game that they implemented that was pretty mind blowing when it came out.
And I think another good example is the thing with the, like, say, legacy Datacrons, for example. It's like all this time they're like, no, 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 no. Then all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're working on this after all these years of, no, that's too hard, kind of thing. So,
Yeah, I definitely think that it's coming out with this expansion when it comes out. I think there's definitely going to be some things. It's going to be pretty game changing. I mean, the way they're talking about the story and everything like that. I think it's going to be probably more game changing than we realize yet, and probably not until some of us actually get into some of the testing and public testing like that, or actually get in the gameplay that we'll really know how different it's going to be. So I'm kind of excited about it, but a little nervous too.
yeah, I mean, I hope there is some kind of PTS. That would be really nice. But I mean, I guess, I don't know. I feel like it's very hard for them to trust people now to do PTSs or closed betas just because not everyone has been so trustworthy to not post everything.
Yeah, I would think they'd still have to do some of that, don't you think?
Yeah, but I guess maybe they have their own people in-house, like their QAs that go in and play the game. I don't know if they're
Hmm.
actually going to reach out to the community this time, just because it's already almost the end of August, and I guess they could do it sometime next month, but that would be cutting it close for any changes that they would have to try to make before the expansion comes out.
Yeah, that's true. We'll just have to keep our eyes and ears open for that. So, what else did we learn this week? Or what else we got coming on that BioWare has mentioned?
Oh, live stream.
Live
So
stream!
we didn't mention it on the last show, but they did cancel their Seattle Community Cantina,
Yeah, that was
which
kind of
is,
sad.
yeah, that was very sad, especially with all the fans that live in Seattle. But I mean, I guess they always go to Seattle every year, so
Mm,
I mean, I'm sorry. But they did spend 2 days at Gamescom, which is kind of like, grr.
yeah. Well, that's
But
such a huge show at Gamescom, though.
yeah, yeah. So I will still be in Seattle for PAX Prime, which
Oh,
is
yeah?
super cool. So if you have passes to that, or maybe you can go find me.
Be on the lookout for Heather. Find a Where's Heather game.
But otherwise, they are going to do a makeup live stream for the Seattle Cantina on August 26th, and that's this Wednesday.
Yep. That's going to
They're gonna,
be 5 p.m. Pacific time, I believe.
yes, 5 p.m. Pacific. They're going to be talking about a few things like, oh gosh, where's my notes on that?
And they're going to do the playthrough of Chapter 3. It's the same playthrough that and my understanding is correct, it's going to be the same playthrough they did for the press at E3.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're gonna show an old friend that's coming back, and who
Wink,
I
wink,
assume is
nod,
going to
nod.
be. Yeah, I assume it's gonna be Lana Benico. When we talked to Lady Insanity on this show from a couple shows back, she said, we saw Chapter 3 and we saw Lana Benico. So I'm pretty sure whatever they showed at E3, like Jason said, is just what they're gonna show us.
Yep. Yeah, more than likely, but we'll actually get to see some actual gameplay. Not just cutscenes, which is still in game. I guess we will actually see some gameplay. Will be great to see that. They're gonna, like they said, familiar face, which our guess is Lana Benico, and there's gonna be another shareable mount, and my other chance. Hopefully, can I get the Mandalore statue? Please, will it drop instead of some crappy die? I'm sorry, that was speaking out loud, but I digress. And I guess the other thing, the big thing, I kind of tried to segue there earlier, but I got a little jump the gun. They're going to get the nitty gritty details about how companions will work in Knights of the Fallen Empire, both current and future companions, the way they listed there in the post by Eric Musco.
Yeah, so that'll be good to watch. I mean, you don't have to watch it live. You can go to sleep and watch it later. You don't have.
What?
Because I've seen people
Not
complain.
watch it
Oh my
live?
God! Yeah. Some people are like, "Oh, it's in such a bad time for my time zone." Like, "Oh my God, just wait.
Yeah.
Just go to sleep and watch it when
Well,
you wake up."
the time though was still going to be the same whether they're going to be there though. The way my understanding, I mean, that
Yeah,
would be
well,
the normal time they would be there at PAX showing it. So
yeah. That's why they picked the West Coast time so people in Seattle could watch it. So, so yeah, go watch it Wednesday. Watch all this fun stuff that we that we haven't seen yet.
can I make a guess? I'm gonna throw out my own little prediction. I'm gonna say it. I don't know. I don't know this for a fact, but they're talking about companions, and the way Charles Ward kind of alluded in the interview that maybe we'll be able to take companions the way we want. And I'm not sure that did you get any of the beta before the game launched?
No.
No. Yeah, you came later. That's right. Before the game launched, there was a thing where you could actually buy different packs, or you set up your companion with different packs, and basically you could pick what you wanted your companion to do, so that you really weren't forced to play like have to bring Treek or some other healer, or you needed a tank character or this and that. You could bring like basically whoever you wanted, and they could play however you wanted them to play. I hope that is what they're going to talk about and bring back to the game. I would love that.
That would be really cool, but like for my own personal use, I'm not sure if I would stop using Zalek just because he uses willpower gear
Hmm.
too, like the same willpower gear as my assassin and the double lightsabers and everything.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure if I would still use a different character.
yeah. I would. Besides the kit, I would like to see him maybe make a change to how the gearing works. That would be kind of cool too. Because I played a trooper, and like every one of their characters uses aim, which is nice for a trooper because that's their main stat.
Yeah, your Havoc Squad.
Yeah,
Oh my God, did you see the new Havoc Squad armor in the cartel market?
totally.
I was like, oh my God, I have to get that and unlock it so I can just put it on all my companions.
He-
Like,
Heather has Tuesday. Heather's gonna be buying all the Havoc Squad armor. So how many packs are you gonna buy to get all that?
oh,
We'll
I
just wait
don't
till it
know.
gets on the GTN.
Yeah, I'll probably just wait for it to go on the GTN, and then hopefully it's not too expensive. If not, then I'll just start using all my cartel coins again. I did use a lot of cartel coins to get oh yeah, these this pair of shorts in the game, but
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I saw some of the new armor, so I'm kind of excited about that. So, but I'm hoping that maybe we do some companion changes and stuff like that. But anyway, we'll probably find out more details in the live stream, and that is going to be Wednesday, like you said, and that's going to be 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Pacific.
Pacific.
Okay.
Okie dokie. So, moving right along. What do we got next coming up? So, we got the live stream. Anything else that you think we got going on in the news right now? Anything that you've heard on your side of the fence, maybe? Anything like that? Or should we just move on a little bit?
No, we can keep going.
Let's go and check out the community buzz. So as we move on into the community buzz, we, of course, so many people will probably notice the title. Maybe the title of our stream is a pinch of parsley.
Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about parsley today.
And what is parsley?
Parsley,
Besides it being a great herb.
Parsley, it's like a website or program thing where I don't know if they have an actual system like Star Parse where you can just open it up and it helps you parse, but you can definitely upload to it. And when you upload, you can see all these leaderboards, the top parsers and operations and your class and on your server. There's so many different options where you can go look and see who has the best parse numbers.
Cool. So what all do I do with those numbers? What all can I do on that website? What can I do? I'm a doofus when it comes to parsing.
Well, one thing that can really help is if your DPS is low, you can view the top people that play your class and your discipline and just kind of see what they're doing. I I was parsing a bit and I wasn't really looking at other people's logs, but I can tell that they definitely do just slight differences from what I'm doing. I mean, I'm not doing terribly. I'm actually doing pretty okay.
Yeah, pretty okay.
Pretty okay.
Go ahead and say your number, Miss Top 10 on Parsley in your class.
I'm not top 10 on the entire Parsley.
Well, yeah, but on Harbinger, your server.
Okay, well, we'll be specific. On the Harbinger, as a deception assassin, I'm in the top 10.
Yeah.
Albeit, I am the 10th person, but there's one person in there that's on there twice.
Yeah, I like that. We were looking at this earlier, and Heather's like, I go, yeah, you're in the top 10, and she goes, shut up. And I was like, and then she looked at it, and she's like, oh, well, but actually there's a guy in there twice. So already she's like, oh, actually I'm 9, so.
Well, anyway, so that was kind of cool to see, but I'm sure, there's so many great deception assassins out there. I don't think I'm like that amazing, but I'm going to try and improve just because I looked at some of the top logs and saw what I was doing wrong. And so this is something that you could do to help in your operations, because we're continuing this how to improve in your operations and PvE and things like that. And even if you get good playing your class in PvE, this means that you can also execute it also in PvP. I mean, it's not the same, but if you know what the best procs are, or you know what you're doing in that situation, then it's a little bit harder to do in PvP because it's an unpredictable environment that you have to really know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just mashing buttons. I mean, I guess you can get somewhere in just mashing buttons, but this way I think you could be a lot more effective.
Yeah. Well, actually, with the new operations, it's pretty unpredictable, and you're always having to move now, so it's not just standing there and rotation. So you have to know your rotation, but hey, by the way, get out, stupid idiot. So let's see. If you don't know, we kind of talked about last show just a little bit. But we talked a little bit about some of the parsing. And so first off, you're going to want to download that. Star Parse will be one right now. We've heard some stuff about Parsec kind of going away. So we've been primarily using Star Parse. Is that what you guys use?
Yeah, we've been using Star Parse for a while. So,
and we will have a link to where you can download that in the show notes. But you definitely want to download that and then run the install and setup. It's not that hard of a setup, would you say, Heather?
No, you also have to, in-game, you have to do something with your combat logs. I forgot what the option is called, but you have to, track combat logs.
Yeah, you got to go in under preferences, and I'm forgetting the actual place on that, but you'll have to enable combat logs, and then once that's enabled, because that's actually going to keep a file of what you do in-game during any battle that you incur. And so it will keep a log, and then that's what gives Parsley the numbers and feeds the data to that program. So once you get that, and you get it all set up, and you'll have to join a group or create your own group if you just want to parse like that. So then you do that?
Yeah, you don't even have to be in a group if you're just parsing on the dummy. If you want to be on the operations leaderboards and be parsing with your group, then you want to do that. But
yeah. And usually, if you're on a raid team, they'll also have their own private group that you'll join, and so everybody can kind of see as you're going through, pick up the pace, Jason. Your numbers are real slow. Come on. You'll definitely want to be a part of that, because it can also tell, as you look through there, what actual ability is, killing you, where are you taking those damage from. They can look at that and kind of help them while they're doing a raid. So once we get it all installed and set up, Heather, where do we parse, and what other things do we need before we start parsing?
There's a couple different places you can parse. You can parse on your ship if you have a parse droid. It's not a droid, but a dummy, a parse dummy.
It's a dummy.
Yeah, it's a dummy. And I don't know if it comes with your ship or it's just something I bought 3 years ago.
Yeah, you got to buy it through your legacy, and you have to go through your character perks. The nice thing about it, it's one of an account log. So if you buy it, it'll be on your legacy. Well, actually, a legacy, not account. Whatever your legacy is, you buy that once for your legacy. That's fine. So then you'll just show up, and there'll be a dummy on any one of your ships within that legacy.
And if for some reason you don't want to do that, there is a place on the fleet that you can parse. I'm not sure where exactly it is because I've only been there once. I think it's on Zygoth Shadow, maybe?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
One of the other fleet ships.
I went there when I needed some extra help with my Juggernaut.
Now,
Someone wanted to watch me parse, and I was like, okay.
The other thing, now on the ship dummy, actually, you can add a couple things to that. I don't know if you can do that on the fleet or not, changing the health.
I'm not sure.
And what are those things? I think there's a couple things you have to where it'll kind of give you consistent numbers.
There's two things. There's one, it's an armor debuff, so it you just put that on the dummy because everyone else does it, and yeah, for your numbers, you want to make sure they're exactly the same. And also, most people, the standard is to set the health at 1,000,000 hit points. Otherwise, you're just parsing and parsing and parsing forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, because you want to make sure that your parse goes on more than like a few seconds, but you definitely want to not be there forever. But the longer you do it, you kind of get a more consistent number of what your actual DPS is.
Yep, so that is the training dummy standard health modulator.
That's for the health, and then there's an armor debuff.
It's the training armor reduction, training dummy armor reduction.
And then, like Heather mentioned, you'll want to go to the dummy, and you'll actually then have the dummy selected, and go in your inventory and right click on each one of those things, and actually put it on there. It's like basically adding a buff or debuff actually to the dummy itself. So then you'll start off with that and go from there. And and then like Heather mentioned, those logs, those are actually that you look at. Those are actually the full rotations that these people do, and those are very helpful. I mean, you can see your rotation at like sites from Dolphy and stuff like that, but actually seeing somebody that is doing a full parsing. What does your parsing usually go for time-wise? 3-5 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. I don't really keep track of the time. I just look at the
when the dummy's dead.
Yeah, when the dummy's dead and where I end up on the board. I don't upload it every time. I only upload my
only
best,
really good
obviously. Ones. But once you're done parsing, if you go into Star Parse on the left-hand column, you just left-click the combat log or the selected combat. You can just do upload selected combat, and it's so easy. You just upload it to Parsley and it goes.
So what's some things you've found that's really helpful, or that when doing your rotation or something like that?
Apparently I've been doing a PvP rotation and PvE, which is no. I've been opening with the spike in PvE, which is kind of pointless, I discovered. So I looked at all the other parses. I'm like, what? They're starting with Crushing Darkness. So I'm like, okay. So I started doing that just for my dummy parsing.
So now, for some of the people that know, what's the difference between, the opening and your regular rotation? Because I know my opening for like a sniper is starting an orbital strike, because normal rotation anymore, you don't use the orbital strike. It's kind of, what you say, usually it's a long cast, but it's like going to be a high damage or something like that.
Well, the only thing I can think of with starting with Crushing Darkness is it's before you do, or before the parsing even starts. So if you can do the cast before you start hitting it, then the damage just starts going as soon as you start doing like instant hits. And so that's kind of why I think they do it, just for the dummy parsing.
Yep, get those numbers, kind of front load all your numbers, because as you go over, the longer the time, your numbers start dropping down. So I guess that makes sense. So basically, you'll see these opening kind of rotations in Dolphy's sites when you're looking under your spec, and kind of tell you the opening, and then basically after that, it's just rotation until, like Heather said, the dummy's dead. And then she mentioned, like, what do you do when the parsing is done? So you can upload that. What's some other things you look for in your numbers that you can use? Or do you actually use for that? Or do you use it all?
Well, I look at the actual DPS number. What did I look at today?
I know one number I look at is to make sure if my accuracy's going is the misses. What I'm actually, excuse me, if I'm still missing on anything. Which, actually, right now my sniper's pretty good with that. With got my accuracy all the way up, so I don't have to worry about that missing anything. And so I look at the misses, and I also kind of look at my rotation. I look at the log and to compare it, because even though I have my printout one when I'm doing the parse, so I don't like mess it up, because I still am getting at that down pat, that I will look at that and compare my log to some of the other high level numbers that I see on Parsley. So
One thing that's also kind of interesting to look at, maybe not for all classes, but your APM, your abilities per minute, that's basically just how fast you're hitting your ability. So
yeah,
for
that is
a
a good
class,
number.
yeah, so for a class like a sniper, for example, it might not be as high just because you're sitting there doing the casts and stuff.
You're
But for an
waiting for a shot.
assassin or a marauder or something where you're constantly hitting things as fast as you can, then you want to pay attention to that number and just compare yours to like the other parsers, other players.
Yeah, well, and that makes sense too. I mean, when somebody kind of explained to it, it's like the more attacks you're doing a minute, then actually more damage you're going to end up doing. So that kind of
Yeah, I remember hearing that on a interview with Ufalong a really long time ago. It's just, however fast you can put out your abilities. I mean, a certain class might be quote quote better, but if you're not as good as playing it, then your numbers might just be lower anyway. And that's how I feel about hatred. I mean, sure, hatred might be really good, but I don't know how to play hatred, and so I just wouldn't be as fast. I wouldn't be as good unless I really, really, really practiced it. But I
yeah.
mean, why would I when I can hold my own playing
And
a
the
deception
deception. Yeah.
assassin?
Well, and if you're comfortable with it, you should play that spec.
Yes.
So anything else that we as our flavorful like parsley segment?
No, except I couldn't find an old parse I did on Tor card mode. It was pretty good because there was hardly any deception assassins. I think I talked about this last show too, but I couldn't find it. I ended up not being able to find it, and I don't know how to find it. So I guess I'll just have to do it again sometime.
Well, you do bring up a good point, because you can also there at Parsley and also within your combat logs, you can see how you've done or compare yourself to other people on specific bosses. Like I think they've got the Ancient Threat, all the Ravagers, the TOS, and what's the other? I think that's all the bosses they have right now on Parsley. But you can actually,
I think they have all of the bosses. It's just if people are uploading
yeah, it's
those
the ones that
bosses.
were, yeah. But you can actually compare and see how they're doing on the bosses. But then in your own combat logs, whatever boss or fight you're at, you can go back and look at those and sort those out, so you can compare. Like, if you go on an operation, you can look back over, like, well, okay, this is how I did on this boss, and okay, this last time we went through the op, this is how I did it, and so you can kind of compare and see if you're getting better as you're going through the different operations. So that's kind of helpful. I like that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of good numbers, stuff like that. And at first, I was kind of like, is parsing is that really needed? And now that I got doing it, it's really been
It's
helpful.
really helpful. Yeah.
So definitely highly recommended. And thank you, Heather, for pointing some of those things out. And we will have links to all where you can get Star Parse and also to Parsley and some different things like that. So you can check that out. So now, kind of moving on along, something else we came across this week. We had a little bit of interesting. Was it James Olin kind of pointed something out?
Yeah. Knights of the Fallen Empire's most exciting new feature.
New feature, you say?
Yeah. And this time, there's a new animation.
Oh, there is a new animation. What?
Yeah. Instead of NPCs and people holding up their left side when they die, they can also now hold on to their right hand side. So that
Oh, Well, that's great. I mean, that will give a whole lot of more things for animators to do. No, I thought that was funny. I got to read that.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's also sad when if people take it way too seriously.
I know,
Like, oh
right?
my God, this is all they can come up with. It's like, no,
Seriously,
just calm down.
they're totally trolling you guys. But
So that was a funny little bit.
the best part was player at the end. I don't know if you read that. Players are invited to try out the new injury animation on the test server by attacking the clone of Corso rigs. Yeah, I will definitely join in that. I will get all over killing Corso. So no, I thought that was kind of funny. Larry Everett, I have to tip my hat off that. I saw him retweet that, so that was kind of funny. Yeah, that was great seeing that, and to see like people like James Olin, chime in with that, so and give their little 2 cents and having a little laugh. So, besides that, another thing going around the community, and so to our family, on our server, Harbinger, see, Kreia, you mentioned that. Can you tell us what happened there?
Freya, he's one of the top assassins or the top assassin in PvP, and he hosted a cool little world PvP event on Tatooine this on Friday.
Oh yeah, was that an Outlaws Den then?
Yeah, it was on Outlaw's Den. I wasn't able to go myself, but I did tell some of my guildies. I still don't know if they went, but but it looks like it was a really fun event. There's a lot of people there. It looks like a lot of people from Bloodbath and Beyond in this screenshot, and lots of people in Krea's group. And so I'm glad that they had fun. And I feel like the tools are just all there in game. You can just go into Outlaw's Den and have fun and do these kind of things. And I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, it looks like it was a pretty fun event. Like nothing went seriously wrong. Like the Harbinger didn't break.
The
And
Harbinger. Yeah, I saw some people. They were talking about it from Bloodbath and Beyond. I saw that in Google Plus, and they mentioned it, and they said it got a little laggy there with all the people there. But if you
yeah,
look
but
at some of the
that looks
shots,
like a lot of people.
there's a lot of. I mean, I saw screenshots of people having full raid groups. I mean, full ops group. I mean, like full 24, which is the max you can have, and against another set of 24 is like that's a lot of people. And so, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a little laggy, but I thought that's great that they want to jump in and do that. Those are always fun.
Yeah, so glad they had fun, and maybe he can do this regularly, especially if he was able to get all these people together and have fun.
That's awesome. And definitely shout out to Kreia for that and letting you know about that. That's kind of cool. And definitely tell him we said hi, and hopefully, maybe we get him on.
Maybe.
Maybe. So, Kreia, if you're out there, we'd like to, get in touch with you. Hint, hint. Twist your arm. So, well, at this point, got a little message here.
This is Jesse.
And this is JT from the Passionately Casual Podcast.
And we're here to remind you about the Extra Life 24-hour charity gaming marathon.
Play games, heal kids, November 7th, 2015.
Go to www.extra-life.org.
So that's a little bit of an announcement about the Extra Life, and that's going to be coming up. That's November 7th, 2015. It'll be a 24-hour gaming kind of marathon or charity thing. It's always cool to help out some kids. You guys ever do this over Despair? You guys hook in with that?
I don't know if anybody from the guild has actually played the 24-hour marathon. I've definitely donated to other people that are doing the Extra Life thing. Like, if I can think of the past few people in the past few years, I donated to Redna at one point, and Bam from Wook. I donated to them also. So yeah, it's really cool. It's basically you play, and your family and your friends, they can donate to whatever hospital you're playing for.
Yeah, it's awesome. I came across it early on when the game was just getting started, and came across these people were talking about it, the Extra Life thing, and it's a great organization. I know, of course, that was from the Passionate Casual podcast, was the other one that I kind of moonlight on. I kind of helped co-host on that. And we had an interview with Cash, and he's the president there of the Orange County segment for that. And so that was really cool to get to hear him and the different things about how he got into this charity. So, and the whole thing, their whole slogan, play games and heal kids. So, I mean, you're going to be playing video games anyway. Why not try to help out some other people in the same time? So, we will have links to that and how you can get involved. And even if you don't want to do the whole 24 hours, like Heather said, I mean, you can find somebody else that you might want to donate to, or just play a few hours or something like that. But definitely something worth looking into. And we'll have a link to that. And you can see all the top teams that are getting all their donations and everything ready for that. So, and it's also, like you mentioned, Rednet, it's a good time to check out some streamers, because a lot of the streamers will be doing that on November 7th. You want to check out them. And I'm sure that they can definitely attest to if you can get a hold of them and how you can follow them during the stream and possibly make donations to them as while they're streaming. So give out a shout out to all those good people. So now, anything else, Heather, you can think of we have maybe covered or need to maybe go back over today?
No. Not that I can think of. Not anything that I probably want to talk about on the show.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's serious. That's serious. Well, you know what? We managed to do it. It'd been a while since just me and you did this, without somebody else to help hold us up while we're doing the interview. Well, I think we survived. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we definitely did. It's kind of nice with just two of us. Yeah. I mean, that's why we're the hosts of Corellian Run Radio.
Exactly.
We can talk to each other.
Totally. Yeah, of course, we have nobody actually following us anymore. But no, hey, we're just talking, minding our own business. So, I think we'll kind of move on to some of our shout-outs and stuff like that.
Yeah, so if you want to be on our next episode of Corellian Run Radio, if you're a guild looking to get your guild noticed, or you want to announce an upcoming event like CREA, why not contact us about being on a guild ready check or any other shout-out segment? If you're interested, send an email to corellianrun@gmail.com or to me at heather@prettylittlesith.com. Thanks to those guilds and people who have contacted us, and stay tuned for new guild ready checks.
Don't forget to check out the articles on CR this past week. You can also check out members of the SWTOR family by visiting SWTOR Networks at SWTORnetwork.com. Please take a moment to leave us a positive feedback on iTunes. You can also subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcast app.
If you'd like to contact us or have any questions or ideas for discussion topics, email us at corellianrun@gmail.com. You can also follow and tweet us on Twitter at corellianrun. My personal Twitter handle is Heather_PLS, and Jason is at JT_HoloNet. If you're on Facebook, you can like our Facebook page or you can join our Facebook group. You can also leave a voicemail for us on our website, www.corellianrun.com, or our Facebook page that could possibly be featured on the show. Finally, if you'd like to be a writer or submit content for our website, send an email to Jason at corellianrun.com.
That's going to wrap it up for us at Corellian Run Radio. Thanks to all the fans, followers, and loyal listeners, especially those that joined us in chat today. And I also want to thank those who also hosted us through Twitch. Thank you guys. I saw Redna and Larry Everett, and also you hosted us. So thank you guys, all you guys on your streams. I appreciate that. And until next time, I'm Jason.
I'm Heather. May the force be with you, or keep those blasters by your side, kid.
You've been listening to Corellian Run Radio, a Star Wars Old Republic podcast. Tune in next time to hear Heather say,
"Play games, heal kids."
End.